In 2007, I shipped Knuckles and Rogue. But the illness grew and grew. Soon, every woman I looked at looked like Rogue, and I would imagine her being with Knuckles. I recorded myself replaying Sonic Adventures 2 and illegally downloaded Sonic X, and went back through the recordings and found all the scenes where Knuckles and Rogue have moments. I compiled these all into a CD and labeled it as proof. I would spend hours every day looking at the same fan-drawn art that shipped Knuckles and Rogue, and my obsession grew more and more. I rewatched every scene of the anime where it was hinted they liked each other, and rewatched them. I would look up Rule 34 of Rogue, and every single one with Sonic or Shadow I would pretend did not exist. I got into a fight with someone on the internet about whether Rogue likes Shadow more or Knuckles, and everybody in the thread said Shadow. I almost killed myself that night. Eventually I stopped going to school, pretending to be sick. I was 17, and didn't go for 2 weeks, just so I could ship Knuckles and Rogue and read every fanfiction and view every fanart. My parents discovered my gigabytes of files of Knuckles and Rogue when I went to the bathroom, the only time I left the room, and threatened to break the computer. I threw my mom and stopped myself from hitting her with my belt. I clung to my computer and screamed, and they called the police, where I was taken away and hospitalized for a month. This went on for 5 months, and I stopped going to school the last 2 weeks of the fiasco. It started to get really bad during the last 2 months. I had to retake all my state tests, finals, again in January, because I couldn't take the tests. I was removed from the National Honor Society after this. What the fuck? I threw my mom. How are you still sane enough to post here? Oh, everybody has moments where they almost beat their mother and then get hospitalized for freaking out over fictional characters. But wait, there's more. Oh god, of everything that happened, this is what I remember the most. This fucking thing is what I regret the most. The only women who ever really give a shit about anyone is their mother. She raised me, took care of me, kissed my boo-boos, and all for a game. All for a fucking game I threw her across the room. She was visibly scared. God knows what went through her head. Fuck all of you, Rogue loves Knuckles and you all know it. It does not end here. My computer wasn't really filled with porn. I might have had a couple of folders, but that was it. I had fanfictions and pictures of them kissing and cuddling. Sex was something I thought should be private between them. I had them saved, so in case the internet went out, I could still be with them. All of this at age 17, by the way. At dinner, I would spend less and less time every day. I would quickly run back upstairs to be with Knuckles and Rogue. My parents started to get worried. My dad at the table would talk about how communication can lead to a better family, trying to get me to talk. My parents were really worried. One day, 2 days before the throwing incident, they stood by my door and knocked, and I yelled really loudly, "What?" "This is painful to type, oh boo-hoo, it's painful to type." They asked how I was doing, etc. They asked if I was bullied at school. They asked if something happened with a girl at school. They asked if I was feeling depressed. They asked if I wanted to see a therapist. We were poor, but they still said they would do anything. They weren't condescending, they were genuinely worried about me. My mom had tears in her eyes and was just so worried, wondering what the fuck is going on with her son. I told them to fuck off. They were taken aback. This was the first time in my life I cursed at them. I felt horrible the second I said it, and they were taken aback. They said I had to tell them, and I screamed and forced them out of my room. I locked the door that day, and my mom sat behind it, knocking on it and trying to joke with me, recounting memories from childhood so I would open the door. She slept sitting by the door that night. You are a disgusting piece of shit, and your parents cared about you far more than you deserve. I hate you so much. To think things like you exist and people have given their lives to maintain this planet stable through world wars, you're a fucking shame for the human race, you oxygen thief. Up to this point, the thread was funny. Worst part is that you say it's painful to type, so you know you are wrong. Just accept the offer and go to therapy. You need it. Enough said. Seriously, nothing more to be said. It's crazy to think that somebody who is just 1 year younger than me acted this way towards their parents and shipped Rogue and Knuckles to an unhealthy degree. This was really bad, but this is 4chan for you, and people like this exist. That's all that I can really say. Oh, and please hug your mom after this.